Hello, everyone. I have a wonderful, wonderful lady I want to introduce all of you to called Marcy. And Marcy is with me today as, yes, as an educator, but also as a parent of a wonderful son. And so, Marcy, I don't know if you want to quickly introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, I'm Marcy, and I am a special educator. I also do DR floor time therapy with children, and most of all, I'm a mom of a young man named Michael. He's 31, and it's been a very long, long road of healing for him and for my family. We've gone through a lot together.
So, Marcy, tell them actually a little bit of the journey that you have
Okay.
walked with Michael in a short summary,
Okay.
as much as you want.
Okay. Michael's 31. He's a handsome young man. He was my first child, and I was very excited about having him. Couldn't wait to have my baby. And he was an amazing baby. He did everything ahead of time. He was so much fun. He was completely spoiled and loved and doted on every second. It was somewhere between 15 and 18 months. He stopped responding. It was right after a vaccine, and he didn't want to move. He just wanted to lay on the floor and take his pacifier and rub it on his face and stare at the ceiling. He stopped responding to his name. He stopped saying words. He stopped doing anything. He just wasn't there anymore. And it was only within a 2 or 3 week period that I lost my child. And I thought it was temporary because he was there, and I knew he was there. Where did he go? And we started seeing different people, different doctors, different specialists, and he became diagnosed as autistic. And the pediatrician actually told me when I said to him what happened, he actually told me he was born this way. You just imagine that development and that growth that really wasn't there. He's always been like this. Even though he had known him from birth and had told me he was making all his milestones, no worries, all of a sudden he said, no, he was like this from birth. I knew that wasn't true. I knew he was still in there. We sent him. There was no place in our public schools in Connecticut for him, so they outplaced him because they didn't have a program in Stamford, Connecticut at the time. And he went to a school called CES, Cooperative Educational Services, and they just basically spent, until he was 21, they spent many years just working on his sensory system. He didn't learn anything. They just worked on keeping him regulated because he was not responsive. He had no affect. The only time he got excited about anything or happy was when he was eating. He just wanted food. So that just became our connection. I would feed him and he was happy. So that was really it. He didn't want any other interactions. He didn't initiate interactions. He had no interest in anything really. He wouldn't look at a book. He wouldn't look at TV. He just really wanted to eat. And that was about it. And I took a class with Maude, and I said, Maude, I have this child. Is there anything out there? I know he was in there. This is so many years ago already. Can you do anything for this child of mine who is now an adult? And she said, you know what? There is one thing that may work. I'm not sure, but let's try it. It's called Tomati스. And I said, let's do it. And so I bought these headphones.
So the Tomati스 method is headphone device with right now it's coming with an actual device attached to the headphone, which is going to be changing in 2025 in a different delivery. But right now, that's what we used. And the program is calibrated music. And it consists of Mozart and some marches and some waltzes and Gregorian chants. And also, if you don't want to use Gregorian chants, there's other options as well. And that music we program in certain ways to stimulate the brain in certain ways and to inhibit other pathways that may be overstimulated in the brain. And then we basically put the program together per individual profile. And so that is really, in short, what the Tomatis method does. There's another YouTube on my channel that explains the Tomatis method in more detail. And so, yes, so at the time, Marcy, that we started working with you, he was living in a home.
Yes.
And so maybe just also describe for them what he was at that moment, and then sort of what happened then as we continued working over the past year.
Okay. Michael was not able to go on any kind of work track, even though he went out into the community with his school program. He just had no interest in anything at all. And he never slept. That's another thing. So I feel like he was always exhausted as well. And he also had a lot of aggression and a lot of stimming, just a lot of dysregulation. And nobody could figure out nobody could really find a thing that they would say, oh, well, Michael likes to do this, so this will work. All I knew is that we couldn't take care of him anymore because he was up all night. He was still not completely toilet trained. So he was just so overwhelming. So we decided that Michael really needed to be in a residence that could take care of him properly. We were very, very lucky to find a place close to us. And he ended up in a house a few miles away when he was 21. And the problem was all he did was try and run away. They didn't know what to do with him at this house. They never seen anything like him. He was totally obsessed with just eloping all the time. He went into a day program and just was obsessed with eloping. When he went into his home, all he wanted to do, but to the point where in the middle of the night, he was trying to climb out windows. He was doing anything he could. And so we had to move him to another group home in a safer area because he was running out into a very busy street with trucks. He was running to a local bodega and grabbing soda and ice cream, and they had to call the police a number of times. Fortunately, the cops would come and say, "Oh, we know Michael," and they would take him home. So we were lucky as far as that goes, and we feel like God was with him, and he never got hit by a truck. But we were able to get into another group home in Stamford that was on a very quiet street. So that's where he is now. And during the day, he's got a one-on-one staff. The staff just took walks with him all day. They didn't know what to do with him either, because he could never engage with anything really, still except for food. So that brings us to when we started Tomatis a few years ago. We wanted to try something. We didn't really expect too much, but we figured, well, I think we've tried everything else out there. We have not tried this, so we have to try it. Well, this was, I teach preschool, so this was over my Christmas break, and I want to be able to completely focus on that. And after about a week of the first round of Tomatis, it was Christmas Day. We brought him home, and he started looking in the garage in our house, looking for things. He never shown interest in anything, but he started pointing. So we opened the garage. Michael, what do you want? He came in and he took out this shop vac, and we said, okay, Michael, you want a vacuum? Let's do it. And we brought him upstairs with the vacuum, and but then he lost interest, but he wanted it upstairs for some reason. Then he started going into the drawers in the kitchen, which he'd never, ever done. And he found screwdrivers and took the screwdrivers and threw them in the garbage. And then he went upstairs. I keep screwdrivers upstairs also because I'm always in my house. I'm the one that fixes things, not my husband. So I have stashes of screwdrivers everywhere. So he took the screwdrivers from upstairs and he brought them down and threw those in the garbage. And it was almost like he was childproofing the house, because then he found knives and wanted to put them in the garbage. So, and scissors. So anything that was sharp, he was putting in the garbage. And I didn't even know that he knew where the screwdrivers were, what they were. And we didn't understand why this had meaning. But now looking back, I understand he was telling us, hey guys, I am in here. I am in here. I am smart. He wanted us to know that he can do things. He is in there. So we had some amazing experiences just for that first round. He started sleeping completely through the night, which he had never ever done. He gets, and that's just lasted. He gets up, he's still there. So it was really a shock. And it was really exciting because we asked the staff in his house how he's behaving, and they felt he was a lot calmer. They said he's much easier. So a lot of those behaviors were they were slowly dissipating. It was very, very exciting. And we've had 5 sessions so far of Tomatis, and each time has been amazing. And we keep wondering how far can he go with this? And maybe it's unlimited. It's this past round of Tomatis was in August. We just finished just a few weeks ago, and he is so responsive, and his face has changed completely. He looks nothing like the young man that we had before we started Tomatis. He is bright and engaged, and he's so expressive. I've never seen expressions like that. I mean, his body language and his affect is unbelievable. And now we're now that we know he's there, we visit him every single day, and we talk to him and read to him, and he's soaking up everything we say. He wants to hear everything. He wants so badly to learn. And now when I sit and talk to him, he'll do this. He'll just look at me like waiting and completely engaged listening. And we've started, since he's become more regulated, we've been able to do like some facilitated typing with him. And if we can ask him things, he's typing out answers to the things that we ask him, and he still can't speak, but he's brilliant. He uses very advanced language. And I just don't know what to say. We have our child back. He has been there all these years. He has been there this whole time. And my daughters have really enjoyed getting to know him. We've enjoyed getting to know him. We're getting to know him for the first time. My youngest daughter, who's now 21, said to him recently, Michael, did you ever listen to me, to some of the things I was trying to say to you? Because she was always the one that wanted to engage with him most. And he responded with the typing, Jessica, I've listened to every single thing you've said to me, and I love you. And the funny thing is, it took him a long time before he was able to tell my husband and I that he loves us. It took about 6 months of the typing, because I think he had a lot of anger towards us. He told his sisters right away, but with us, he was very upset. He wanted to know why we put him in a special education class when he's so smart. He complained that he never learned anything in school, that it was just sensory, and and he was so angry about it that, and if you think about a very smart person that's not being fed and stimulated cognitively, it's the anger that must be there is tremendous. So that just caused further dysregulation. It's just, just a horrible cycle that happened. He said he learned nothing. So the good thing is he wants so much badly to learn now, and we feel so fortunate that we have him. It makes us feel awful when we think this brilliant child, we didn't know it, and he's complaining that he didn't learn his times tables, and there was nothing for him to learn. He was on a swing, or he was on a treadmill, or he was wrapped up in one of those sacks for SI, but that's it. So, but we are so fortunate to have him. Thank you so much for giving us our child back.
I'm humbled by that, because I'm not so certain, we had a part to play, but I think the family has a far larger part to play, Marcy. The way you guys have embraced him and believed in him when he started showing the signs, that was beautiful to behold. It was lovely to see you guys all blossom around him. Mm-hmm. And just a practical thing, he started with facilitated typing, but he's typing on his own now, right?
He's not 100%. He needs a sensory input in his arm. Okay. And when he's very calm and regulated, then he's able to type on his own, as long as he has some kind of pressure on his arm.
Okay.
Sometimes if he's talking about something more serious or upsetting, it's harder for him to type.
Yeah.
And then he just needs more. It depends on the pressure that he needs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's just important for the audience to know that, because facilitated typing has had some reviews that were not so positive, and then others more positive. And certainly I've seen both ends of it, but I'm so grateful, that he's able to share his thoughts now in some shape or form. I know, Marcy, this has been a tough road, and I think that I still remember very vividly one of our consults together when you guys were mourning the fact that, we never knew. Nobody knew. And there wasn't guidance at the time to help you to see that this boy was inside of this outside facade that wasn't able to help him to shine, Is there a final message that you have for families out there, something that you really want them to take home and take heart?
Absolutely. Your child is in there. I think that the hardest part for me was having a child that was born perfect, and then something was done to him, or something happened, and we don't 100% know what it was. We think a vaccine, but there's no way of proving that for sure. Believe in your child, believe that they are intelligent, and try the Tomatis. It's amazing. And some kind of communication, letterboard communication, or typing, any kind of communication. I know some children who just take magnetic letters and on their refrigerator and tell their parents what they want to eat. Just that they need to start communicating, and it's just a miracle. It really is. I feel like I've witnessed a miracle. And everybody needs to do this.
Certainly won't complain about that. But So, yes, thank you so much, Marcy, and for being willing to share your story. I know this is, it's daunting. It's public and it's out there, but I also know, having gone this journey with you now for over a year, that we've been working together, maybe even a bit longer. But what we've looked at each time you sent me video, which you also gave us permission to use in this clip today, every time you send them to me, I was like getting chills. As much as I love this work since I've been doing it since 2003, and I've seen so many wonderful places of being come together, this was the one case where nothing else was done, right? Where we couldn't say
Yeah.
it was maturity. We couldn't say it was some other piece, right? We couldn't say there was another program. There wasn't any other SI. There wasn't language therapy. Nothing. This is the only thing that's changed for many years, as he was already 31 by the time we started, right? So I think that it's so clear that even though we can't say with scientific truth that this is going to help everybody, we cannot say that. We do not have that proof. It's cases like yours that gives me the hope, that gives me the peace within me that we're on the right track. And someday somebody is going to research this in the fullest being in a way that can help others to know that this is also evidence-based. For me, I have the evidence in my clinical work. I've seen it over and over. But I think that it would be irresponsible to say that it is science-based, right? Because we don't have, on this kind of cases, we definitely don't have the research. We have other research, but not this, right? So I'm just so thankful that you're willing to spear the way, make it open for us to share this word to others, to share this work in the fullest shape and form that we can, so that others can maybe also have the hope and keep searching for the things that may be possible. So thank you so much, Marcy. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Maude. I am so appreciative to you. You are a godsend, really. You created a miracle for me and my family.
Hearin. Hearing, you got it, buddy. Hearing. T what? H. Hearing the S. O. T. SOOT. H. IN. Hearing the soothing S. O. U. N. D. Sounds. Hearing the soothing Q. U. I. Hearing the soothing sounds